All right, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing an X-Men related video. Going to give my quick thoughts on X-Men Dark Phoenix, a movie that should never even have been made. Okay, and I'll keep this one spoiler-free for you guys, so you don't have to worry if you haven't gone out to see X-Men Dark Phoenix yet. You can go watch it. I won't give away too much in this video right here. We'll keep it non-spoiler. I see no reason to go into like a full-length spoiler type of review for this movie. I don't even want to. I don't have the gumption for it right now. I'm just kind of like, I'm looking at this and thinking to myself, like, why did they even make this? That's the big question for this one is, why did this movie get green lit? Why did they make this? Because, okay, so the movie's called X-Men Dark Phoenix. It's another X-Men movie. Yes, they've made lots of X-Men movies. I got the X-Men collection here. I've been a big X-Men fan since I was a kid. I've got every season of X-Men the Animated Series. I got a sweet X-Men Marvel Legends collection that's worth, probably around, a few grand at this point. I got like 10 Sentinels, and they're worth like a couple $100 each, and a whole bunch of rare Iceman variants and stuff like this. So, a huge X-Men fan. Have been my whole life. Love the X-Men franchise. Love the movies. Almost all of them. And this one right here might actually be my least favorite of them all, and unfortunately. And that even includes X-Men The Last Stand, or X3, which is crazy to even think about, because X3 is easily one of the most hated movies ever. I mean, ever. I mean, X3, The Last Stand, was so bad that they actually did Days of Future Past in order to undo it. So they, Wolverine goes back in the past and does the whole thing, and then it creates kind of the timeline becomes a tangent and it becomes different. So the events of The Last Stand don't take place, and it's sort of like a nightmare type timeline that kind of gets that's redone after from Days of Future Past. And this is the biggest problem I have with this movie. You made a movie called X-Men Dark Phoenix, and I wasn't so amped for the movie, because I was sitting there thinking, like, Dark Phoenix, we've already seen them do Dark Phoenix, and it didn't even work that well the first time. Why are they going to do an additional Dark Phoenix movie? But I thought, okay, let's see what they got. Let's see what they can do, and let's see if it ends up being any good. Well, unfortunately, to say, it's really not that good. A lot of it, to me, in my mind, I couldn't help myself. I just kept thinking to myself, we've already seen this. We've already seen this. We've already seen it. It just kept coming in my mind. It's like, we've already seen Dark Phoenix in the X-Men movies. And like I said, it wasn't a fan favorite type of deal the first time. And in that, you had Wolverine, you had Halle Berry Storm, you had the original X-Men cast at a time where X2 was really well received. And doing it now without Wolverine, and you get some other fun characters, like they have, the younger new timeline versions of the cast and the characters. So you get Quicksilver, which is fun because he's a fan favorite in every movie. He's been a lot of fun, basically. And you get kind of the first class kind of timeline with Professor X and the new Magneto. We have Days of Future Past. Some really fun stuff with Quicksilver in this movie, and also with Apocalypse too. In this movie, Dark Phoenix, he's not given a whole lot to do, right? Not very much to do. So X-Men Apocalypse was also a movie that a lot of people didn't like that much. I actually liked it a lot. Apocalypse is one of my favorite villains in all of comics. He's sort of like the Thanos for the X-Men. What Thanos is to the Avengers, Apocalypse is to the X-Men. And so I like this movie. I thought it was really great. I thought it was epic. I thought it was fun. And I liked Phoenix in it. Sophie Turner does a good job. She does a really good job. Fan of her from Game of Thrones, and she does a good job. She looks the part as Jean. I think she's a good choice for it. Nothing wrong with that. Here we just have a picture of a lot of the different X-Men stuff like that from the. So that's the X-Men collection. That's the X-Men set right there. I'm not saddened that I bought this earlier and that it doesn't include Dark Phoenix, because I won't be buying Dark Phoenix. Basically, this movie was so unnecessary it's not even funny. I was even talking with my wife because she went to see it with me, and I'm just like, why did they make this movie? I just had to ask, and she said it right there, to make money, and she's absolutely right. It's just a money grab. And that's unfortunate, man. That's what they're doing right now. Is they're just going to make it just because they want to have an X-Men movie. They can make a little bit of money from it. I don't think this one's even going to make that much money, because based on the budget being $200 million, box office right now is $234 million. So it'll make some, but it's not going to make a lot. It's basically going to be a flop from the sounds of things. At least they didn't lose money on it, but It's what it is. So let's see. Totally unnecessary movie. Felt a lot like X-Men 3 for the parts with Jean, where she's going through some of the, especially she goes back to her parents' house and stuff like this. I mean, this stuff is like, it's very, very similar to what they did in X3. And in X3, they had other stuff going on too. So you had Magneto, who was the threat. You had the Cure idea. You had Wolverine. You had the Last Stand with the big battle and everything, and it was pretty epic. And even though certain characters died, and in the end Wolverine has to kind of put down Phoenix, and it's kind of this nightmare type timeline, at least it felt pretty epic, and it was, it had a lot of stuff going on. You had Juggernaut, so you had some kind of fun characters you brought in. This one felt like, you're bringing in characters here as the villains, which is Jessica Chastain as Vuk, so the leader of a... now, I guess this is a little bit spoilery to read the villain description, but leader of a shape-shifting alien race known as the Dabari, who manipulates the Phoenix. So basically the devil on Jean's shoulder and manipulates her, so she's kind of the villain of the movie in a way, and kind of, won't give away the end or anything, but they got Dazzler in here too, which is just like, it's so bad. There's certain characters, what I will say is that certain characters make sense in the comics. They do not make sense in a live-action movie version. Dazzler is one of them. Okay, I think Dazzler is one of them. So, I'm not going to make this a whole big rant because I've done lots of rants lately, for other series, one of which, Sophie Turner's in Game of Thrones, right? So I'm not going to do that here for Dark Phoenix. None of this is her fault or any of the cast's fault. I would hold accountable the people that basically wanted to green like this as a movie, because it really, when you look at it, when you consider what they've done in the past four with X3, it feels like there's not enough substance here to even make a movie about Dark Phoenix, because we've already seen Jean go through that kind of transformation before in X3, Last Stand, and it didn't even work that well that time, and now to see it again here in this one, kind of like in a more drama type fashion. The space stuff at the beginning is cool, where they go up in outer space and stuff. Is very similar to the comics in a lot of ways. No Wolverine, but similar in a lot of ways to the comics. Yeah, man, I mean, it just feels totally unnecessary. And after seeing Apocalypse, which is pretty epic, he has some epic battles in that and everything. And Jean Phoenix had a great part in that with Apocalypse or Days of Future Past. This movie is not even close to on the same level as those. And from a drama, psychological perspective for what's happening with Jean, it's mediocre at best, I want to say. And it just doesn't have enough substance in it that this should be an X-Men movie. It should not have been made with this. You could have this be part of something, but you should have had something else in it too. The villains are weak at best. I mean, they are so forgettable. It's not even funny. There's the X-Men have a ton of different villains. There are a ton of different X-villains. They could have chose, I don't know who they want to go with. That they've done a lot of them already. Maybe they could have done another stab at Sabretooth, or in this timeline, or somebody else. Like, I don't know, something else could have been done here to add into the mix here. And I just think it was a bad decision to even pump out this movie with it being focused around the Dark Phoenix, because it's just something that it's been done. You can't you can't do it when you've already kind of done it already in the previous movies, and it just feels like you're retreading an old ground, and it's not strong enough. It's not full enough. There isn't enough there to make an X-Men movie about that you could put and think about. Just think about Days of Future Past. Just think about even Apocalypse. It's just there's not enough here to make an X-Men movie about this, in my opinion. So for that, I'm only going to give this one a 3.5 out of 10. I don't think it should have ever been made. I think that it should have been definitely, just canceled, or they should have gone to the drawing board, brought in some more interesting villains. They could have had the Dark Phoenix stuff be a part of a subplot or something, but you should do something more unique that doesn't feel so familiar, because there are parts of this that literally feel like, oh my god, this is a rerun. I've already seen this, right? It's just a different cast, and a weaker cast, really, too, if you think about it, because you don't have a lot of those original X-Men that felt pretty epic the first time. Now you're doing it again, and it's like, oh, just so unnecessary. Anyway, that's kind of my thoughts on X-Men Dark Phoenix. Very, very disappointed by the movie. Kind of went in thinking that, are they going to make a movie about this? How are they going to do it? How is this going to work? and really wish it would have never been made, and that they could have done something else with maybe another group of X-Men villains or something that could have been cool. At least it could have had some fun factor for the action, or something like redo Juggernaut or Sabretooth, or bring in a bunch of them together and do something interesting as far as that goes. But they did not do that. Anyway, if you like this video, please thumb it up below, share a favorite, leave a comment below, let me know what you thought about X-Men Dark Phoenix if you got to see it. If you didn't get to see it, if you haven't seen it yet, maybe wait until you can watch it on Netflix or something, or I don't know, online or something. I don't know. Wait until it gets released, because don't buy it, I don't think. I mean, I'm a huge X-Men fan. I can't imagine there's many people out there that are a bigger X-Men fan than I am. I can't really recommend it to anybody, and it's really unfortunate. Maybe you'd enjoy it if you did not see X3 or some of the earlier X-Men movies. Then you might like it a lot. Then you might be like, okay, it's great, because it's not like a rerun for you. Anyway, that's it for the video, guys. We'll see you again soon for another. As always, it's Trev, and I'm saying peace. Later, guys. See you soon.